All right, welcome back. Here we are on Santiago, and fishing has been so good lately. Where are we on ground bait? 57.2. Sure would be nice to get to 60, wouldn't it? See what's left for that. So to get to 60, we're using the hemp seed oil. In some ways, we're out of feed. We have a little bit of hemp seed oil. In some ways, I feel sort of like I'm getting to the point where you almost want to do wait and just do like a weekend of premium to push leveling some of these things. Once you get into the 50-60%, it's just like how much silver do you want to spend versus like hitting it hard over a weekend with premium can make such a difference, pushing up to a decent percentage. So I don't know, we'll see. I may continue to work on it some even without premium, but okay, so let's do this. I want to focus on two spots here at Oldberg that has absolutely been phenomenal, especially if you are, I won't go as far to say AFK fishing, but if you are kind of focus on other things but available to every once in a while catch a fish, this spot has been really nice. So we're using size 8 hook worm, just using carp ground bait, which we can make at this point. You could, even get more dialed in if you were using the grass carp, black carp combination of things. On the first and third rod, our actual carp rods, we're using double hemp 10, double hemp 15 at 17 meter clip. Now I've done this before, so you may have already seen me do this but it has just been such good silver lately, bouncing between this and Bream, and I've only done it like 2 or 3 times, and I've already gotten so much silver. So we'll see if we can have another good session today. I'm hoping we can. But we'll just kind of sit here, catch a couple fish, and then I'll just pause it and come back when fish are on. So somebody is actually messaging my main account telling me about a spot on Donitz for catching tarin on float, but they're saying that it's really good silver. So kind of excited that we're getting so close. I mean, look at where we are on XP. We are 75%, but that's because of how good this spot and the Bream spot has been. Now, we did get some decent XP at Belaya as well, doing that spin fishing, but I've really seen it shoot up in just spending, one overnight at Bream and then a couple hours in this spot just made a huge difference. So it's very cool. I'm going to keep you here at least until this fish actually gets on the line. All right, there we go. And really all we're hoping for is to get several, 4 to 6 kilo grass carp, and then maybe every once in a while, this one's 7, so that's good. Look at that, 4,500 XP. Every once in a while hit a even bigger one, or hit a black carp, which is really nice. Like that same 7 kilo black carp would be a nice bit of XP. In fact, if you look at my statistics now, there was yesterday a 15.6 kilo black carp on this 10-15 double hemp. And as you can see, 3,200 experience. Imagine with premium it'd be even more, but just really nice. This spot for XP is really nice. The silver's not bad either. I will say the silver at the Bream spot, yesterday at least, was off the chain. We'll see. We'll see how it goes today. All right, so I have fished here for a little bit. It's been going fairly well. You know, some little grass carp, and of course the worms catching all of the small trash fish, which you frankly don't mind because it just keeps that ground bait going in and out, and hopefully helping you catch a few decent fish. Now, one thing I have forgotten to do, another nice grass carp, one thing that I've forgotten to do that would have helped, I think, is I usually started off here by throwing some ground bait in by hand. But now that I'm so close to evening, when I'll likely be switching over to bream fishing, I didn't want to just like throw ground bait in this late in the game. But I will say the bite rate's probably a little better if you start off by feeding the water with some ground bait. But either way, we've almost hit 30 minutes in this spot, and we've caught a nice amount of fish. Some of the grass carp, decent size. If you're looking for grass carp, cafe order. We didn't hit the lucky black carp, at least not yet. We'll give it a couple more minutes, but it's just about time where we want to go sit up on bream fishing. And then after I do a night of bream fishing, what I would typically do is probably just come back to this spot and then just kind of chill here for a couple hours, hoping for, you know, a couple of decent black carp, because you know you'll get the silver as long as the bream are still pretty active today. You know you'll get the silver from the bream, and then to get a little boost of XP and just have a little fun with carp. I like coming back here. So, but in just a minute here, we will move to the bream. All right, so here we are. We are moving to the bream spot, and once we get set here, unless we get a really large fish on, I'll sort of just update you as we go or at the end on how things go. But notice that we are going to a 10-meter clip, and I did stay till, I mean, it's already 1 a.m., so this is going to be a really shortened bream session, so we're not going to do like crazy numbers. Yesterday I had 31 bream over 1 kilo, which if you do a lot of bream fishing, you'll know that that's the kind of bream session you're aiming for when it's that good. That just means that it's going to be pretty much awesome. So it can be really good, but to start this late is going to significantly change that final number. So notice that we're at 10 clip right now. Clip sometimes is a little longer in this spot, but we're using 10. Also notice I forgot to change this one, and it never hurts to add a little extra ground bait in the water, so I'm going to go ahead and change it. But I do like to change it to a smaller leader when we move to bream. There's no sense in having like a 20 kilo leader. I guess the only sense would be if you run into a 5 kilo common carp, but for the most part we like to have the smaller leader on with bream. I think 6.8 is about perfect. So between 6 and 7 kilo, whether you're using a carp leader like I am, or if you're using the fluorocarbon leader, then either way I feel like that's sort of the size if you have the luxury. Now on this setup, you know, we don't have, well, we're running a 6.2, but actually the weak point of this line is of the setup is the line, not the leader. And so we have to be careful on that one. But, oh, I've got to be careful. We need to, this is another thing you can really mess up when you transition from the carp to the bream and you put those smaller leaders on there. I have to really watch on the carp rods. We need to have our friction break down about 14 or so to make sure we don't snap it before I have a chance to pick it up. But you can see already, again, I messed up by coming this late, but I was hoping to get a lucky black carp right before we left. But it never happened. But you can see already we've got 2 bream coming in back to back, over 1 kilo. This spot just has been really good for me lately, and we'll hope that we have at least a decent session here and catch a few bream so that we can put a reasonable net together for this video. Alright, looks like that fish is now on. Yeah, so I've got this friction break down to 14. That should be pretty much safe to not mess anything up. I don't think there's a bream on that 3rd line yet. Hopefully that will happen soon. Okay, so we have spent what was left of the night fishing in this bream spot. It's almost 7 a.m., so we're still in prime bream time, but just for a little bit longer. Notice all of these points we've gotten on bottom fishing. Both fishing for carp and for bream. We're switching rig types between loop and classic hair rig, so both fairly advanced rig types, and just keep getting those points. Even though we don't have premium active, we're still hitting a lot of bottom percent points, which is just so nice. And as I suspected, this bream spot still seems to be absolutely great. We're using bream ground bait, large one hook, garlic dough. We are at 1044, just kind of casting straight ahead of us, but we're only at a 10-meter clip. So, I mean, I don't know exactly where we're getting to, but we're not getting all the way to that 5-meter hole, obviously. Nowhere near it. But this spot at 10-meter clip just continues to be very, very healthy. So I'm going to keep you here for the final couple of minutes here. I think once we hit 8 a.m. or thereabouts, we will stop bream fishing. And I think what I'll do is I'm actually going to walk you back over to the carp spot just to kind of remind you physically where we are and how close we are to the carp spot. And then I'll put our carp rods down, and then we'll go to town, double check cafe, see what we've made in the past, you know, almost an hour now. Probably 150 silver, I'm hoping. Something like that. I definitely recommend, if you have a little more time, I'm trying to sort of abbreviate this for the video, but the bream are so good right now in this spot. I definitely recommend spending longer than I did. Get here before 10 p.m. and fish till 9 or 10 a.m. Do a full 12 hours in this spot, because so many of these bream have been over a kilo. And even though we didn't get the full time in, we still have hit a really high number of bream over a kilo. So this is where you're going to make your consistent money. But then you can make a lot of XP and occasional decent money over at the carp spot as well. So just kind of depends on what your main goal is. Like for me right now, silver wise, we're wanting to keep saving so we can get that 3rd caliber HSV as well as the Fortuna carp rod. So we have a complete set, and then we can really embrace some bream fishing, or sorry, some carp fishing when spots arise. I considered not getting the 3rd carp setup yet because there hasn't been just like an obvious spot other than this spot at Oldberg for grass and black carp. But I think I do want to go ahead and get that spot finalized, and then that 3rd setup finalized, and then I can focus on the spinning rods, as well as maybe a slight upgrade to our float rods. Okay, so this will be our last fish. But I mean, you see here, even at 8:54 a.m., I think this bream spot is just so healthy right now that you can extend, you can really start earlier than normal and extend how long you stay in this spot than you normally would think of for bream spots. Okay, so we're moving from the bream spot that I've shown you. Remember, that was a 10-meter clip. And we're going to head over to back to the carp spot. Just want to kind of make sure I'm showing you these 2 spots in case you have not seen me or other people fish these 2 spots. If you have been following along with this leveling experience with Santiago and have a similar quality of setups, the capability of fishing for bream and carp, then these are just 2 spots to me. Like, it doesn't get much better than this at this level, at least, if you're into this kind of fishing. And it's helping, even though I haven't had a ton of time lately, it is helping me make pretty quick progress right now towards, we want to go back to the bigger setup, obviously, towards hitting the next level and being able to go to Seversky, which I think could be fun. All right. So back to 17-meter clip. So we're going 17-meter clip, just kind of slightly turning right. We're at 2167. We just kind of turn right just a little bit. And then on this middle rod, we do keep it at loop rig, but I like to go to 8 hook with worm so that we try to dodge the really the bigger carp and stuff on this setup, because obviously this setup just is not strong enough for the carp. And then this one is our larger setup, so let's make sure we have all that set up on there properly. And once again, 17-meter clip, cast it just slightly right. Now, this is what I was telling you before that I like to do, is just kind of eyeball it, maybe around 70%. Actually, I think a little farther than that would be okay. 4, 5. So I need to watch next time I cast, because we basically are throwing those ground baits right to the edge of that green stuff that's right in front of me. So let me max cast this really quick. Not max cast it. Let me cast it to 17 meters exactly, and just make sure it looks like it might be within 5 meters of that spot right there. I actually bet that's a good bit past it. So it looks like 17 meters might be a little bit past that. So yeah, even that, I think you can just max toss them. Well, that actually was a little too far. So 98, it's hard to get it exactly then. Yeah, we're not going to be able to get it exactly. This is where, spots like this is where actually having those additional tools which allow us to toss with some more precision would be very helpful. The slingshot, I think, is the one that we can use now. Wow, we just got another point in bottom fishing there. All right, are we getting a fish on this third rod? Some nibbles. I was going to run to town and then come right back, but I guess let's wait and see what this first nibble is. And I will, once we see kind of how we've done in town, I will we'll wrap up this video. I mean, again, I think I would continue to, you have the time, you know, put a little more time in both at this spot and then maybe another night of Bream, just because it feels like right now it's such a good bite rate. Like there's just such potential right now that you kind of want to get it while the getting's good, sort of thing. But all right, it is now gone silent. Well, it'll definitely be on by the time we get back, or most likely will. So let's just go see how we've done real quick. The other thing, the past couple of times that I've fished for Bream here, we've hit those really nice Bream cafe orders, which I don't think we have. You know, there's sometimes you'll get the orders of like 3 Bream over 2-point-something kilo size. And because we didn't do a full night there, we didn't get that big. But when you do, that's like 70, 80 silver right there. And then if you get a nice grass carp order, there's just a way where, you know, you might make 200 to 300 silver a day. Some days might be a little more, but then with cafe, sometimes you might do way more. Okay, so now right now, if you really hit the lotto and get the trophy, you're going to be in very good shape. Eventually, we would hit that crucian order. In fact, I probably will hit it if I go back and fish just a little bit. We're not fishing anywhere that we're likely to hit that common carp order. Garlic dough has stopped hitting common carps as much. But that is, okay, almost 200 silver. So that's even a little better than I was suspecting, with kind of the way we've split up our time here. But whenever you're fishing for bream, so let's break this down. Here's bream. Well, here's bream. So 110 of that is bream, and then the carp and stuff adds a little bit more. So it's always a very nice amount of silver when especially when fishing for bream. Okay, so that, oh yeah, let me take you back so you can see where the spot is since it's daytime, and we can just see if there happens to be a fish on. And we'll wrap this one up. Thank you for being patient. I just wanted to show off both of these spots without, without making a 2-hour video. I wanted to try to just show a couple fish, but mostly just highlight these really good spots here at Oldberg right now. If you are looking for some good bream and carp at Berg, they are available. And obviously, if you already have big carp setups, people are catching a lot of nice grass carp and black carp. Just use the larger hemp boilies. Go up to the 20s or a combination of 15 and 20, or even 20 and 25 if you want to. But that is, it's just it might slow your bite rate down. Of course, if you have PVA, that'll help a little bit. But yeah, you can definitely hit some really nice carp here. I'm trying to catch more of a good bite rate since we don't have PVA. That's why I'm using the 10 and 15 size. But the fun thing is, like, we catch a pretty nice bite rate, and then every once in a while we actually see a really nice one come in. So that's what kind of makes it fun. Okay, as always, thanks for watching. Hopefully this is helpful. I will see you next time. Tight lines, everybody.